My name is Brent Chance and I'm here with the Educational Challenge. We're going to talk about motivation. It's important to help our students maximize their learning opportunities. And as we look for ways to help motivate them, let's spend a second and talk about the characteristics that often define them. These are students who may be struggling in one or more classes, may not be reaching their potential in those classes. These are students who may be suffering from tardy or disciplinary issues that are resulting with time lost on learning. These are students who, even worse, may be suffering from low self-esteem, and that esteem is playing against their opportunity for performance. These are students who may see school more as a social engagement rather than an academic engagement. So as we look at the variety of characteristics for the unmotivated, we should begin to think about how to help them recognize the challenge that they're going to have to take on if we want to see some change. And that change is going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's where we spend a second talking about this challenge, helping them recognize that we want to see incremental or marginal changes in their performance. And that'll help make the goal more realistic for them. So that's just one of the steps that we can take in engaging them in this conversation. It's important to open up with, let's take a couple of steps. Let's not look for the amazing turnaround or the 180. Our second step is going to have to be to help them see value in their education. Many students often fail to see the value. They come into school and they see their friends and that's all that matters to them. Well, I often use this as an economics teacher with my students, where I ask them, if we were to stop right now and you were to go out into the world, what would it be like? What is the salary that you'd possibly be making given your skill sets? And then, of course, what are your expenses going to be? And as they begin to explore that, they realize that it's going to be very costly when they get on their own, and that the lack of skills are going to result in their inability to make the amount of money that they like. And that's where you parents can actually be very helpful here, because if you've got an unmotivated student, nothing more realistic than sitting down with that person and saying, hey, let me just share with you some of the expenses just so you're clear as to what life is like beyond the comfort of this house. And show them the Comcast bill or the cable bill. Show them the heating and the electricity bills. Show them the mortgage for the house that they're living in, or the apartment that you have, the condo that you are in at the moment. And share with them the food items and the budget that you are allotting. That will help give them a realistic sense of what it may take. But those are the realistic ways in which to help demonstrate the value of education. So there's some other ones as we can look at the example on the slide that you're seeing, which is the amount of money that you can make with more degrees. So you'll see high school students represent the greatest number of unemployed because they obviously have the least amount of skill sets. And of course, as you move up the academic ladder and you start to acquire more and more degrees, not only do the unemployment rates go down, but the amount of money, of course, that you make in your lifetime increases. And that's what will hopefully help get them more motivated. But you need to really do some soul searching and thinking about your child and what they are driven by, so that you know how best to approach them. And as we begin to think about getting them to make some changes, it's going to require some time spent on goal setting. Now, as a teacher, we're constantly evaluated, and I'm constantly trying to find ways to improve my performance in the classroom. And so what we have here in the school, and what I've used in my classes as well, is what's called SMART goals. And you'll see there on the screen that they are specific, they're measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-oriented. And that's important because all of those are important in the goal-setting process. I sat down with a child the other day and I said, all right, let's set a goal for the month of February and March. And they said, I'd like to do better in class. Okay, well, what does that mean? You know, these individuals are often struggling to define their goals. And that's where we need to help play a much greater role. So I asked the student and I said, do you want a B? Do you want an A? What do you want? And from there, we created a conversation. And that would then begin to help create the measurement that we'll use to help us find out whether or not we've got there, or we've gotten there by the end of the time. And of course, as we start talking about that, we then think about the actions. What are you going to do to help you get that goal? You know, what are the steps that you're going to have to take? And then, of course, is it a realistic goal? I had a student who really hadn't done much homework over the year. And she said, oh, I'm going to do all my homework. And I said, is that realistic? And she said, oh, I could do it. And I said, I hope you can. I want you to. But is it realistic? Let's set the goal more maybe at 75, 80%. And if we get there, then awesome. And if you go beyond it, even better. Talk about building self-esteem. So those are some ways to help set some goals. But time-oriented is important as well, because you got to set a goal that they can work on in a short amount of time. And then we reassess the goal and say, all right, do we achieve it or do we still have to work on it? And that allows them to continually touch base. And as you do that, you're going to want to then think about the resources that are out there that will help you and your child achieve the goals that you're setting. There's tutoring opportunities. Here at the high school, we offer tutoring to any student in the Barnstable Public School system, whether you're a pre-K all the way up through 12th grade. That can be done at your house, at a library, on the weekends or on the weekdays. We offer tutoring for the high school students here during the week, on Wednesdays, in school. So there's ways to get some support. We also offer a number of other opportunities. There's dual enrollment, which allows your child to take some classes that we don't offer here, which also includes the virtual high school classroom, online courses, some amazing opportunities to help motivate them, because if they're going to be taking a class that they actually enjoy, odds are they're going to find greater success. So there's community college courses, as I said. There's other support structures that are out there, private, that are going to be a little more costly, but also helpful. So I'd encourage you to do as much as you can to find out what those support structures are. Talk to your guidance counselors if they're available, and set up a time to meet with them and your child so that all of you are on the same page. And they're going to help get you the support that you are going to need as you reach for your goals. So I hope that you guys are able to help set those goals and create the conversations that are going to help maximize those learning opportunities, because there's nothing more important than getting our children prepared for the next phase of their life. Until next time, I'm Brent Jansen. This has been the Educational Challenge. And as always, we'd love to hear from you. You can visit us at highschool101.net. You'll see it there on your screen. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook at Highschool 101. And again, that information is on your screen. Thank you very much. Have a great day.